Hey y'all. Okay, so let's talk about it. I wanted to talk to you guys about TV shows because I realized that this is that kind of weird time of year where the weather is weird. You really want winter to be over, but it keeps like popping back in, and you'll have a day that's 80 degrees, a day that's 20 degrees. I know during this time of year, when it's a cold day, I just don't want to leave the house. I'm over it. I'm done. If it's, less than 50 degrees, then I just rather would be under a cover until springtime. So I realized that this is really the time of year where I do most of my like TV watching and binging and Netflixing. Because I really just don't want to be out in the cold anymore. I'm over it. So I thought, let me talk about like my favorite kind of different TV shows and different genres. So I thought of the 3 genres that I watch the most. And it came up to reality TV, sitcoms, and drama, and that's in no particular order. But I wanted to talk about my favorite TV shows in each of these genres, and then you guys can talk about what you like and we can exchange information. So, first up is reality TV. And before I start, I want to caveat this and say that if you're the type of person who looks down on reality TV or thinks they're too good to watch it or thinks that the people on reality TV aren't setting a good example to who, I don't know, like if you're grown, you shouldn't be looking for a reality TV show stars to set an example for you. But this is people's argument. If you believe those things, then we're not on the same page. I will say I love a good trash reality TV show. I'm very into it. I think the key is balance. Like, I'm not gonna just watch trash all the time. Like, you have to be able to watch the trash and watch the intellectual stuff. Do both. Because all of one of them is not good. That means you're not a well-rounded individual. But yeah, so I do watch both because you don't want to watch too much trash either, because then you become kind of shallow person. But that being said, when I do sit down and watch a good trash TV show, I will not be shamed for it. I will watch with glee and joy. And my favorite reality TV show for the time being, and there are a lot of good ones out there, I will say 90 Day Fiancé and all of its little offshoots take a very close second. But I'm going to have to say my favorite right about now is Love After Lockup. If you haven't seen Love After Lockup, you are not living your best life. There's no way you're living your best life and have not seen Love After Lockup. So the show is what it sounds like. It's about people in relationships with people who just got out of jail. And the show actually will cover a portion of the relationship when the one partner is in jail, and then we'll show their release and the weeks and months following. So I think it's on its 2nd season. And the show is outstanding. My gosh, a lot of these people meet online. I didn't know that you could go on a website and meet someone who's in prison and kind of meet online, and of course they can call each other, so they'll start calling and things like that. It's insane. I actually went and looked at one of the websites because is this a thing? Just out of curiosity. I didn't I didn't hook up with anybody, but I just wanted to see, y'all, it's a thing, okay? People do this. So the show chronicles these types of relationships and then what happens after the person's released. Because as you can imagine, it's a whole different story talking to someone who has basically lost their freedom and, has basically only you to talk to on the outside and doesn't have a lot of options, versus someone who's kind of, has their free will all the time and can interact with you and choose you on the outside world. So, as they call them on the show, the outside world. The show is magnificent. You have to watch it. I mean, it's got everything. Anything you can think of. Cheating, drugs, sex, rock and roll, all of the above. Any situation that you would anticipate happening with someone who was just released happens on this show. So that is my reality TV pick. If you want to binge, like I said, it has it's on its second season, so it probably has like 1.5 seasons worth of backlog. I believe it's on its second season. Don't quote me on that. But it's worth every second. And so, second, for my sitcom category, I thought about 2 sitcoms that have run in their entirety, because we're talking about like good shows to binge while we're stuck in on these weird winter days as winter is kind of puttering out. And so I wanted to pick shows that were done in their entirety so you can kind of see the full thing. So the first show is, if you're my friend, you're gonna be sick of me talking about these 2 shows, but they're that good. My first favorite show is my favorite sitcom of all time, Frasier. If you haven't seen it or haven't watched it, you're completely missing out. It ran in the 90s, I think, for the most part. But I think it ran into the 2000s. So it's an old show, but it is a sitcom that gives me everything that I want from a sitcom. It gives me warmth, it gives me humor, it gives me intelligent dialogue, it gives me well-written scripts, relationships between the characters. What drew me in was, I love me a good, romantic arc, and there's a huge romantic arc in this show between the characters of Niles and Daphne, but that drew me in. But then I started watching the show, and I was like, man, this show is just really well written. It's just good, and it's smart. And when it originally ran, of course, I was way too young to catch any of it. But now that I'm an adult, I would go back and look at it, and I just absolutely love this television show. I think it's the perfect sitcom. And so, if you haven't before, watch Frasier. You don't have to watch it in order. Like I said, there is some great character development and great relationship building, but really a lot of the episodes are standalone. So if you want to start watching it, really any episode in seasons 1, 2, 3, particularly 2 and 3, are just breathtakingly good. Then my second, I have 2 sitcoms. Second sitcom I would suggest is 30 Rock, for those who haven't seen it. It's written by and starring Tina Fey. And I love that sitcom because the jokes don't stop. Like, the writing on that sitcom was amazing, because I wish there was a metric that could show us how many. It's like 3-4 jokes a minute. It's just like bam, 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 bam. So it's like the perfect sitcom if you want if you just put it on in the background while you're doing something else to get like a mindless laugh or whatever, because it's so silly. And to me, the lead character in the sitcom, Liz Lemon, is, I don't know if you call this show a sitcom, it's a comedy, but the lead character, Liz Lemon, is relatable and just funny. So I love this show dearly. I will say that for both of these shows, actually, you kind of have a problematic person at its helm. Kelsey Grammer is definitely, he plays Frasier. He's definitely problematic, but hey, Google it if you don't know what I'm talking about. But hey, I can, in certain situations, I can just kind of ignore it, and in this one I can. And then not Liz Lemon, Tina Fey, she's a little bit better, but she's definitely had her things that she said that make you kind of go, not really. But at the end of the day, I don't expect every single person to agree with every single facet of my ideology. I do expect you to not, be hugely offensive or say things that impact or hurt people, and say things that show ignorance towards people who don't look, think, pray, have relationships like you. That kind of stuff really bugs me, but bugs me to the point to where my palate for you can't be recuperated. Like, it's just like, okay, I don't have a taste for you anymore. But I try to just keep watching my shows, and neither one of them have done anything that has risen to the level for me to stop watching the shows. But those are my sitcoms I like. So now we'll talk about the drama. And this drama, I'm sure people are sick of hearing about it, but I thought it would be different coming from a girl like me, who no one would probably, not no one, but I would imagine people wouldn't expect me to love this show, but I do. And the show, my favorite drama, and I think it would be a really great binge, is Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, to me, is the best television show ever to air. Like, just the quality all around. When you talk about something that's well done, the acting, the directing, the cinematography, the scenes, the costumes, the character development, the writing, which it's based off of the books, but the TV show is amazing. You guys have to watch it if you haven't yet. The new and final season premieres, I want to say on April 19th, but I could be wrong. But you have to watch it. It's so good. It's got everything. And it's very intricate. And it's, if it's kept people on the edge of their seats for, how many seasons has it been? I think this is the 8th season. Then you already know. And for the people who are like, oh, you have to read the books. Yes, I'm going to get to that at some point. I will get to it. But stop saying that. We all know the books are out there. We watching the show right now, okay? You're not better than us because you read the books. And then even at this point, they have gone past what has been published from the books wise. So we're all kind of not in the know right now. I think that started at the beginning of the last season, maybe season 7, maybe the season before, but now that has become less of an issue because George R.R. Martin hasn't written the last book yet, or I guess he's working on it, but it definitely hasn't been published. So, we're all kind of waiting with bated breath until this last season airs, but it's gonna be good. So I've said what I like, but what I really want to know is, what do you guys like? What shows have you been watching? What are you into? Hit me up to it. Tell me if you hate any of the shows that I just mentioned. And so we can fight. No, I'm playing. But let's talk. I want to hear what you have to say.